these other foreign leaders, whether it's Boris Johnson, the German chancellor, French President Macron, that are all leading in this effort, not the U.S., which would traditionally be the case.
Yeah, it's interesting to see them taking the lead. If we get Ollie, we'll try to bring him back. But for more on this, let's welcome in Florida Congressman and member of the House Armed Services Committee, Michael Waltz. Congressman Waltz is also a colonel in the Army National Guard. Congressman, welcome back to the show. As we were discussing, President Biden says he's issuing these sanctions on 2 Russian banks, and he's going to continue to escalate our response as needed. Do you think that these 2 initial sanctions are enough right out of the gate, or should he have come out stronger?
Well, he should have come out a long time ago, months ago, as many of us have called for, including Ukrainian President Zelensky, when he said directly to Vice President Harris over the weekend in Munich, what are you waiting for? But clearly this policy of holding back on the sanctions with the hope and the prayer that Putin wouldn't move forward has failed. They have failed to deter Putin from taking this action. And then the actions that they are taking, guys, are a lot of bark and just a little bit of bite. And if you break that down, the sanctions that they imposed last night are only on eastern Ukraine. I don't know many investors that are pouring money into eastern Ukraine right now in a war-torn area with trench warfare. The 2 banks already had sanctions on them. Russia's debt is actually in a good place. Why? Because they're cash flush, because of the high oil prices, because of Biden's failed energy policy. And the Nord Stream 2, this is an important point, Sean. What the Germans are saying of pausing Nord Stream 2 is a bit of a farce. The certification process wasn't due to be completed until this summer anyway. So saying you're hitting the pause button now, again, is some clever wordplay that Biden's trying to pile onto. And then finally, they didn't go after any of the oligarchs. And that's the thing that would impact Putin the most. Start scooping up the yachts, the villas, the castles, the soccer teams, the vacation homes across Europe, and hitting Putin's inner circle. I think only then would you start to have him start feeling some pain and maybe think twice.
So let me pick up on that, right? On what you're saying, because you heard President Biden earlier saying that we're going to judge Russia based on its actions, not its words. Okay, so its actions. It invaded Ukraine. It went in and put military troops into a sovereign country, right? And then you've got Biden, who's been talking tough, but his actions have not been. So why aren't they doing what you're saying? Because those would actually be actions that would seemingly have a consequence. Is there a diplomatic reason? Like, what is the reason that's not happening? Because if you're Putin, you go, okay, here are my actions. I do all this stuff. You don't really do anything. And then I get a lot of tough talk, and you don't do. And then you get Biden, who then really doesn't do anything. I look at this, and if I'm Putin, I go, oh, okay, I can keep doing it because you're really not going to do anything that hurts me.
Sean, this is the definition of appeasement. When I was out in Ukraine a couple of months ago, there was palpable frustration of why the lethal aid wasn't moving. And then the lethal aid they were getting, by the way, was being diverted from Afghanistan. So it was meant for fighting the Taliban, not Russian tanks. And the underlying reason, to answer your question, is that they were afraid of provoking the Russians, that Washington and the White House didn't want to do anything that was escalatory. Now, you and I and anybody who served knows that you show strength, and through strength, you have deterrence. And when you try not to provoke or you try not to escalate, you're actually inviting aggression. And that's exactly what this White House has done. Putin knows it because the same team that's around Biden was around Obama when he got away with it in 2014 the first time.
Let me ask you this, Congressman, because Russia is the second largest producer of petroleum in the world. And today we hit a 7-year high on oil prices. Biden mentioned in his speech earlier that his intention is for Russia to feel the pain of these sanctions, not Americans at the pump, which they already are. But he didn't offer any solutions, I noticed. I mean, should Biden be pushing more American oil producer companies to produce oil and be committing to them long term?
He shut down Keystone. He stopped drilling in Alaska. He stopped drilling on federal land. They're regulating the heck out of oil and gas. So meanwhile, by shutting down American energy independence, Putin is richer Iran is richer, and because of that, they're now bolder. Meanwhile, Putin knows that Germany isn't going to hold tough on these sanctions. They're going to cave because half of their energy needs are met by Russia. And meanwhile, Putin has cut a deal with China to open up a Siberian pipeline so that he can start pumping into China and completely cut Europe off if he wants. He also, guys, just cut a deal with China to sell 100 million tons of coal into China. And the kicker of it all is Biden's own energy secretary admitted to me in a hearing that Nord Stream 2 and Russian gas is some of the dirtiest form of gas in the world. So the environmental argument doesn't even hold up. American gas is far cleaner. But this is in both Germany and now in the United States. This is a progressive environmentalist out of control. And because of their flawed and failed policies, they've actually made us more dependent on our adversaries. And now Biden's people is asking Saudi Arabia and Qatar to produce more.
Wow.
They're asking OPEC to produce more. It's insane.
Yes.
Right.
Congressman Waltz, always appreciate your insight, especially on this evolving crisis. Thanks for being here this evening.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.